If you're here for improv, go away. This is Other Than Improv with Anthony Francis.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Other Than Improv. I'm your host, Anthony Francis, and I am excited because my guest today, she is an improviser from Munich, Germany, originally from Croatia. She has a website called improvshine.com where she does improv. She teaches improv classes. She's just a kind, wonderful spirit, and I'm very excited to have her on the show. Please welcome Anki. Hey, Anki.
Hey, Anthony.
Welcome to the show. You were just telling me that you listened to every episode of this podcast so far, which warms my heart, makes me so happy. Thank you so much for listening to it.
Yes, I did.
And
there's a variety of people that you hosted with so many different topics. It was so interesting.
well, that's very kind. Thank you. And I'm excited to have you here because you're an improviser who does, you follow a very similar energy, a very similar philosophy, and you are kind of far away. So it's nice to know that Germany has some really, and I know Germany has great improv already. I have a friend who moved out there and did some improv, and said that improv across the sea is just really good and is a good welcoming community. So I hear it's going good over there. You're based in Munich, but you came from Croatia off an island. You're an island girl.
Yes, I am. I've been here for the last 6 years, and I think I'm going to stay for a while.
Yeah. What was it like growing up in Croatia? In what way was it an island? Was it an island like Manhattan is an island, or is it an island like the Bahamas is an island? What kind of island?
Are those my two options?
No. You can those are just the only two islands I really know.
Well, it was modest, let's call it like that. So I was born in the 80s, so before internet time. Growing up was you have what you create, like with your friends, with your neighbors, you just play around on the street. There are not too many cars. You don't have to be afraid. Like I'm afraid right now for my own daughter who's 6 years old. I cannot let her go to the supermarket, without me freaking out. Where is she? But it was different back then. Everything was way more relaxed, I would say. And one of the things that I've been doing since I was, I think, 12 was letter writing.
Right.
This is one of the ways I spent my time, reading poetry and writing letters in my diary.
So when you write the letters, are you writing them to someone, or are you writing them just in your diary?
No, both. Recently I read my diary when I was 13. It was all about the boys. And the sweet troubles, who likes me, who doesn't. So that was a waste of time of reading. Since I was 15, I started to have correspondence with two girls from my high school. So we were literally in the same classroom, and we would exchange letters every single day. Like I would give mine in her hand and she would give me hers. So that remained with one of them. It remained until today. So we are not exchanging now every day in the classroom, but we are sending our letters with a mail. She's still in Croatia. And I don't want to even say how many years that is. let's just say a lot.
Just a couple of years, right? High school was, I don't know, maybe
exactly.
5 years ago, 5,
something
6,
like that. Yeah, thank you.
I used to, my wife and I, but back when she was my girlfriend, we worked together, and we worked in a spa. She worked at the front desk and I worked in the men's locker room. And we couldn't text on our phones. So we would write notes to each other in a notebook and pass the notebook back and forth to each other. So
Nice.
Something similar.
Yes, I actually did that as well at the university. It was literally like that. We had a notebook. So I would write, let's say, for a week, and then I would give it to my friend, and then she would write for another week in the same notebook. So I've done all these options.
Right, right. It's so funny because we look at texting and sending messages as being so normal now, where you can be on your phone. But when we were a little bit younger, being on your phone was considered very inappropriate at work, and texting. I mean, I'm sure it's still inappropriate in a lot of places, but it was hard to text a lot. You had to text like, very shorthand because the phone wouldn't let you do full letters. You didn't have the full keyboard. So anyway, that's old people talk.
First of all, in that time, you had SMSs, at least here in Europe, and you had to pay them. So this is a huge difference if you compare it with today, where if you have internet, basically everything is free, like WhatsApp and other apps. So that was one thing. And then, yes, 100 and something characters that you can write. And then the new message, the one you have to pay, begins. So you're going to be very, very, how do you say that? Economic with your expressions. And, it's just like, I'll tell you tomorrow when I see you.
Right. Yeah.
You don't write more than that.
Too much. It's too much to say now. Right. So I want to talk quickly about your improv background, and then we'll talk about anything else. We'll talk about other things. But I wanted to talk about a little bit. You started with improv relatively recently, I guess, right? Or maybe you're 3 years in. You started in 2018 with Rice Cookie. Tell me a little bit about your start with improv.
Oh my God, this episode is going to be a little bit of improv. So
a little bit.
Am I an exception? Well, the thing is, when I was in Croatia, especially when I was studying, I studied social work. I was doing a lot of drama things. So I was having my drama group, and we would visit some maybe socially deprived people, like homeless people or children in the home for abandoned children, and we would make a little place for them and home for elderly and similar places. So I did the drama in my life before improv, and before I came to Munich, while I was still, as I said, in university, I did the Theater of the Oppressed, which is some form of improv, but not quite.
I'm familiar with Theater of the Oppressed. It's to help with I was just talking to someone about this the other day, and I couldn't remember the name of it, and that's the name of it.
Yay.
Right, where you role play, and then you have the audience offer up different ways to change the narrative, change the scene. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about it? You tell it.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I have to be also careful what I say. So the thing is, I think the main difference is that with the Theater of the Oppressed, the focus is on social problems and tackling them and talking about them and increasing the awareness of the individual responsibility to work on making things better. So when I was doing that for like a year in one theater, we had some social problems at that time, like people being sexually intrusive in public transportation. And then we would set up that on stage, and then the audience could come in, replace the certain player or character, and then try to help from that perspective.
And you can't use magic, and you can't use violence, exactly. Right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So it was that was just one example. It was very interesting. The people would, at first they would be a little bit shy, but later on the show would never end because they had so much to say, and they were so inspired and passionate, like they really wanted to do something about it. And I really like that. And I think theater can also help in that aspect. So that was it was very good, and being thought by some drama, how it's called, directors, but those who also specialize the education in drama.
Right.
And they really taught me a lot about antagonists and how we experience change when we are approaching differently. So this is one of the things that I'm also bringing in improv, and when I'm also teaching, is being aware what do my words, how do my words affect your character. You cannot come as a stone and go as a stone, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are some like black and white antagonist, and you are being an issue in this whole scene, and you are then surrounded with the various people with their stories, and they touch you in a way. So if you are just refusing to change, then the player is the one who is actually not contributing, because if you are touched, then your character is also touched to change something. And it's not a magical change. It's not like, you know, suddenly he is the perfect a good guy, but it moves something in you. So I'm really trying to put that in my teaching as well.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, be changed, right? Allow your character to be changed is such a great lesson, yeah, for people to know. Well, we'll move on from improv. I just wanted to talk about, that's great though. Theater of the Oppressed is such a great thing that we need more of, especially here. We need more of that here. Why did you get into social work? What was it about social work that interested you?
Well, when I was young, I wanted to be a police officer. And then I ended up being a social worker. So it's pretty similar.
So, and you are a social, you went to school for it, and you are a social worker, or you were?
I have a diploma in social work. So the thing is, for me, I'm very obsessed with working for a community and making things better for everyone, you know, not just thinking about yourself. But see how you can contribute to making a world a better place. And the best way to start, of course, is with some local community that you're in. So I wanted to do some little changes in my on my island. That was my mission. When I finished university, I returned on island and I established a non-governmental organization, something like youth organization. And I started with various programs for the children and youth. So how to use their free time better. We also offered education and mobility projects where young people would go to some other places, even countries, you know, to work maybe also on their prejudices and stereotypes, because the Croatia is rather traditional and conservative country, and being in small places and isolated places, it makes things even more homogenic, homogeneous. How is the word? I feel that I'm a little bit open-minded as a person. So I really wanted to show people that there is more to it, and that we all are equal as people, no matter who do we believe in, or what is our sexual orientation or whatever. So that was like 3-4 years of my full-time volunteering engagement, which I gave for my community. Many good things came out of that, and some new initiation also happened through it.
But Anki, why do this? Why take your time to do this? You could be doing other things. Why take this time to help other people and do this kind of work? Like, what's in it for you?
Now you reminded me, when I was searching for a job, I was searching, I think it was being like in some type of institution, which was like a governmental institution for youth programs. And then they asked me, why would you work here? You were a project manager, you were meeting ministers and presidents of Croatia and doing, you know, advocacy and lobbying and national campaigns. Like, why would you come here? You know, so I don't know. For me, it's I just do things that I believe in, and that's it. There's no other way. And I believe that I didn't have much when I was young. We didn't have programs. We didn't have anything. And if you're a little bit different than others, then you're really alone. So I just wanted to offer the place where people could meet, be together, and simply, fulfill their potential the best they can.
I 100% agree with that. And I was playing a little bit of a devil's advocate because I wanted to hear your side of it. For me, I can tell you that with improv and with this work, it's you feel kind of alone, until you find that your people, and improv is my people. So I feel more connected now than I ever have when I go to a festival, or I talk to you, or I talk to anyone who's also an improviser. I already am more open and more connected because we share in the same thing and we get each other. So that's part of it. Well, so now you're a kindergarten teacher as well, or now you're a kindergarten teacher, or maybe you're doing both at the same time?
Well, so now in Munich, where I am, my full-time job is being a kindergarten teacher. And in my free time, I'm doing improv as an improviser and a teacher. Whenever I can, I host jams, or sometimes other organization call me, so I host their jams or their workshops, and this all makes me very very happy. But as a kindergarten teacher, I'm like 40 hours a week there, and I also try to put a little bit of improv inside our daily life because children are amazing. I didn't even know that I'm gonna like to work with them. I work with children from 3 to 6 years old, and they're amazing. And I learned also German from them, so I speak German now, but not perfect. And I'm even losing my English because of German. Like, I cannot think of some words, or like prepositions are even worse than they ever were. But the children are amazing. Sometimes I go home, I'm tired, but there's some happiness inside me because this group that I'm part of is just amazing. I said amazing way too many times, but
no, I get it. I totally get it. Yeah, teaching will do that to you. I love to teach. I don't know how to teach children very well. It's not that I don't like to teach them. I don't know how to. I need people that are ready to learn. I don't know. It's hard. I don't know how to balance the discipline side with the let's play and do improv side. You know what I mean? Like, so if there's kids that are disruptive, I'm like, I don't know how to fix this. I don't know how to get you to stop being disruptive and then go back and switch into playful improv teacher mode. So it's that's always been the challenge for me. I'm sure you know.
I understand. And I think there is always, like, in the end of the kindergarten time and maybe later in school, but I have no experience there, you get to a point where the oldest are like, no, I won't do this. No, not again. And then, the whole group, it's like, no, I also don't want to do it, right. And that's like, yeah. But the thing is, I think they see the joy that I'm having while doing it. And I'm always trying, to create something new. And also, I don't want to have any big expectations. It's like there are children who never want to draw, never want to create something like handmade stuff, and right. Sometimes I also felt like a failure, like, oh my god, like I created so many different methods of how can we approach art, and you just don't want to take anything. What's wrong with you? But I also, when my child asked me about Lego, I don't know if you have that in America. Lego? Yeah.
Legos? Like connecting blocks, little plastic? Yes. Oh, we sure do.
Yeah. So when she asked me, for me, it's like pure torture.
Yeah.
Just sitting on the floor sometimes is difficult for me, let alone think of something creative to build. But so I respect their individuality, and I also use maybe some improv role play, so tools, something children are doing it anyway without me. It's a role play. They are very active in that. Of course, they're choosing the classical ones like fairies and Ninjago or Paw Patrol or similar characters. But still, they're always in the role play. So I try.
Let's go back real quick. You said fairies. Then you said Inyago?
Ninjago. Yeah.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Ninja Go. It's like Ninja Go.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Here it's called Ninjago. Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. All right. And then the other one was a troll.
Like unicorns, Paw Patrol. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Paw Patrol. Okay, gotcha. I gotcha. Okay. Sorry. I thought I thought you were talking about. I thought these were like trope characters from like mythical, like fairies, and there's like the German, like some sort of like troll, and I'm like, I didn't know. I was like, what are these mystical German creatures? No, Ninjago, Anthony, like the cartoon. Okay. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not what you'd call smart. I'm not.
Only exceptional.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I haven't. I mean, I've been working in kindergarten for like 2-3 years now. Never before. So everything is still kind of new to me, and I'm learning from them so much, even for my own daughter, So it's
cool.
A win-win situation. Mm.
That's great. And the fact that you say, because you're an improv teacher as well, and you're a teacher, and for you to say that you're learning is such a great sign of a great teacher. Anyone who still feels that they have a lot to learn and that they're open to learning, I think is what makes a great teacher. That you don't think you have it all figured out. I think the day that I go, oh, I got it all figured out, is the day I need to get out of the game. I need to stop teaching because I obviously have stopped learning. So I think that's great that you do that.
Well said.
Well, we're coming up to the end of our show. I want to keep talking to you. I will keep talking to you because we have a good relationship. I love your class that you do. I want to plug you a little bit. So, Anki, you have a improvshine.com. So if you want to learn more about Anki, she's got a website called improvshine.com. You can, on her site, it's really great. The website's great. There's 2 buttons. There's 2 pictures. Click on one or the other. One tells you about who Anki is. The other one tells you where you can find all of Anki's stuff. Really easy. So you can go there. There's Facebook, Instagram. The Facebook event you just did, she does an online class. You do this online.
It's a jam.
It's a jam, right? We call them mixers here. We've gotten away from, although jam still works, but I personally have started to call them all mixers. And that's because of a friend of mine who said, let's call them mixers because mixer has less of a combative word. I don't think jam is combative. He felt it was. And so out of respect for him, I say mixer. But anyway, so you do a jam and that jam is really done in a very great way. If you've ever taken my Monday Night Drop-In class, it's a very similar format, which I took from Jared from The Joy of Improv, and I think it's such a great way to do online improv classes because you get to mix it up. You get to do improv with people that you'd never expect to do improv with, and I love the random connection between improvisers because, or the random pairing of improvisers, because you end up doing improv. If you got to pick who you did improv with, you'd never pick certain people, just the way we are. You just wouldn't pick these people. And so by randomly picking people, you force us to do improv with people we might not have picked ourselves, which I think is an important thing that we all experience and do, because you will be surprised. The people that you thought, no, I don't know if I want to do improv with that person, you end up doing great improv with that person. So I love that you do that way. And if, so definitely, I'm just letting everyone know, check that out. Is there anything else that you want people to know about, either with your improv or any message that you want to promote?
People write letters.
Write letters. Write
our-
letters to whom? Who should they write letters
that was our initial topic.
It was.
That we didn't tackle a lot, but that's perfectly fine. I can come again, no problem.
to? Please.
Well, I never wrote a letter to myself, but there are many people who are writing, or letter to younger self, or letter, and then I'm gonna read it in 5 years or something. So maybe that's your thing. Give it a try. I write letters to two friends of mine. So one for like last 7 years, and the other one for decade two. No, we're not gonna go into details. Yes, and they are like my diary. And I don't write diary any longer, but I just feel better if I share it with someone who I cared about and who care about me. And when I get a reply for them, I also feel heard. And I love to share little, everyday stuff. And what I do extra, but you don't have to do it. Maybe it's also a waste of time, but I just love it. I just enjoy decorating letters like with stickers, but they are not like those children's stickers. They are like nice artistic stickers. And I don't know, it's almost like making your own little book of your own nonsense.
That's really nice. That's really, really nice. And I think there's a lot to sitting down and writing a letter, especially now that all of our communication, like we talked about with text messages, that all our communication is so fast and so cheaply sent that we don't take the time to write it out and decorate it and say, this is an important message. This message is important because I took the time to decorate it, and we just don't do that anymore. And we need to do that. I always said if I ever wrote like a book, I would bind it by hand and build them by hand. Every time someone wanted the book, I would just build it by hand because it's an important piece of information and I want them to know that I care. Also, I don't expect to sell a lot, but still.
Otherwise, you would not brag about doing everything, and make.
But I love this. I love this idea of letter writing. Well, Anki, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for chatting with us a little bit. I would love to do more of it, but that's what makes this special, is that we keep it brief. And if everyone would please write a letter to Anki, we will post your home address. No. But this was so great. Thank you so much for being here and sharing this with us. This is wonderful.
Thank you, Anthony, for your invitation.
If you're here for improv, go away. This is Other Than Improv with